Hi, Henk Akkermans here, Supply Network Dynamics Chapter 6, Part 5, the model. By now I do assume that you have played with the model, played with the sim, have done most of the exercises, have done all of them. And what does it really mean? What is the overall performance in here? Well, basically we talk about two main flows. There's the flows of processes, of cases in process, dossiers in Dutch, files you could say, and there's a flow of employees. And the whole thing is that the two has to be, so there's demand and there's capacity. And the two have to be kept in check. Not all that unlike, it is highly theoretical level, of the challenges that they were facing in the semiconductor industry. And between those there are pressures. Workload is a good indicator for the pressure. It's the pressure between the capacity that you need based on this flow and the capacity that you have available based on this flow. And then there are some other accumulations over time. There's the expertise that those employees have. There's satisfaction. There's also the satisfaction of customers. And these things all interrelate in a number of loops. A better way of looking at the loops is probably like this. Here you have them all in one big causal loop diagram. So it all starts with the case arrival rate. That goes up. As a result, the case workload goes up. Then what happens? Well, one of the first things that happens is that higher work pressure and therefore lower motivation, and therefore lower productivity and even higher workload. That's the first reinforcing loop. Another thing that you're not so happy with is higher workload leading to, not so happy, leading to more work pressures. Work pressure leading to lower employee motivation, leading to more employees quitting, therefore leading to less experienced staff. As a result of this, less staff available, and therefore even more workload. This is the rework cycle, or not so much rework cycle, but the employees quitting cycle. What else do we have? We have, of course, a solution, a sort of pressure vault for this is that you can release some pressure by outsourcing work to outside parties. That does cost you money and you don't learn from it, but it can resolve some short-term pressures. In the long run, yes, of course, the customer can walk out because they are no longer satisfied, but this is a insurance that perhaps every 10 years you place a demand on. So quite a few of the customers will never experience actually how good or how bad your insurance is in that period. That has to go via social media, etc. So this is very much a delayed process. Most of the people simply sit stuck and do not know what risk they're taking. What else do we have? Of course, when you process cases, you learn. As a result of that, you do become more productive. So that's a good point. Of course, you could be more motivated, but you can also be more productive. Motivation can be, for instance, because you have a very good fit between the cases that you handle and your own interest and competences. Kim van Horschot, my co-author, who is a fanatic cyclist, made the example of if you're involved, if you have a case with dealing with a traffic incident with a cyclist, and you can give that to a legal specialist who is also a fanatic cyclist, then probably this will be a better match between the client and the lawyer, and also there will be more expertise available. However, if you want to do this intake, this allocation right, then this is costing you experienced staff and you have less staff available. One of the experiments in the Sims is also to see if the net result of those two activities is actually positive. What else do we have? Well, I think we've had most of it. The most obvious thing, the most obvious temptation is when there's pressure on the work, is that you hire new staff and that therefore more staff becomes available. What you will see in the Sims is that you can easily overshoot here, because for a year or so not enough work had been done, so there was actually for 2 years work for the current population. It's then tempting to hire double the amount of staff, but actually that's because of the accumulation. After you've worked away that pile of work, then you would be faced with an excess of staff, which would either stay and that would be costly, or would leave and would be also a waste of energy, etc. So these are the key feedback loops that drive behavior. In summary, what this case teaches us, I hope, is that you shouldn't assume relevance too soon. You have to keep questioning the facts, as in the poem.